Hey everyone, welcome to the Bruce Williams channel. Today on my wrist, actually, let's do a desk view here. I'm wearing the Santos de Cartier in the large size. I'm absolutely loving my watch honeymoon with this watch. I've not taken it off since I purchased it a little while ago. But today we're going to be talking about building a watch collection. Specifically, if you had a certain budget, what would be the best thing for you to do? I'm going to share with you some picks that I made when I was out at Brent L Miller Jewelers in Lancaster, Pennsylvania a couple weeks ago. I actually filmed this video out there in Pennsylvania. We actually shot it outside, me and Brad, but unfortunately the audio just wasn't salvageable. We used a good microphone, but just not up to snuff. So I'm going to be sharing my picks with you here in this video and dropping in clips and macro shots and wrist rolls of my watch selections for the various price segments. We're going to do a $2,000 budget. We're going to do a $10,000 budget. And then we're going to do an unlimited budget, no rules at all. And this was a fun exercise here because I know a lot of you that watch me, you do this and you do this for fun. You're like, all right, if I had this much, if I sold off, these 3 watches in my collection, what would I be getting? What would I be upgrading to? Or if I just added X amount of dollars to my fun money, what's my watch collection going to look like? So we're going to do this, but I think keep in mind, these are my picks and I'm a casual guy. I'm a sport watch guy. I'm a dive watch guy. And so these might not be the best picks out there, but I think they're the best picks for me. So let's start here. Let's start with the $2,000 budget. And I think there's a couple ways you can go with any budget. You can blow it all on one watch, or you can try to mix it up and, get 3 or 4 watches with that price that you have set that you're going to be spending. And so for this, I tried to mix it up a little bit. My first pick is the Seiko Sumo, the SPB 175. This is a lovely silver waffle dial. Retail price is about $900, so it would take up a significant portion of the budget, but this would be my daily driver. And the thing that I like about the Sumo, I've owned several Sumos over the years, it's just so quirky. It's so Seiko-esque. But it's not retro Seiko, it's contemporary Seiko. And I identify with that. I love this big, fat, silly looking case that is just so big, right? It looks like a sumo wrestler. It looks like, it's just out there. It's bulbous, it's quirky, and it's in your face. But here's the thing. It's incredibly comfortable. It doesn't feel like a 45mm diver with the sculpted lugs and the way this sits on wrist. And specifically this one with that waffle dial, I think it's lovely. I love the lume. I love that small use of powder blue on the running seconds hand. And this watch will carry 200 meters of water resistance, and it's powered by an in-house Seiko 6R35 is the movement, so 70 hours of power reserve. Now here's the thing when it comes to building a collection. If you go with very similar watches to each other, then I think you're going to get bored pretty quickly. There's nothing to really distinguish itself from the rest of the watches in the watch box. And so for my second pick here, I want something completely different from the Sumo. Different in style of watch, size of watch, dial of watch, country of origin. This is the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical blasted finish with the blasted finish bracelet. Retail price on this is $575, 38 millimeters in size. So quite a contrast to the 45 of the Seiko Sumo, and this will carry the H50 movement. So this is a hand wind movement with an 80-hour power reserve. This will carry a free sprung balance. It's essentially a modified ETA 2824. This will carry a sapphire crystal. And the thing that's nice about this Hamilton, it is thin and trim, and with those lugs, how they kind of arc down and follow the curvature of your wrist. I really like this piece. 50 meters of water resistance as opposed to the 200 on the Sumo. So I think this would be a pretty good 1-2 punch. But I've got some money left over, and so I want to add another watch to the rotation. And knowing me, I want a sport watch. So I'm going to go with a Citizen. I'm going back to Japan for this one. This is the Nighthawk Blue Angels edition. This will be an eco drive movement, so it will be powered by light. never have to change a battery. And this would be a great grab and go type watch that I could use to set the time on my, my Seiko Sumo and my Hamilton Khaki Field, because those are mechanical watches. This one has surprisingly good lume and a very decent bracelet. And it is also 200 meters of water resistant as well. So I think this is a great trio here. And I'm a little bit under $2,000. But here's the question I want to pose to you guys. I kind of touched on it in the beginning. Would it be better to buy multiple watches or to buy one? And maybe here's something that you really should consider if you're actually living out this exercise. Don't go buy a watch or watches. Hold steady. Maybe wait another 6 months, do some overtime, add to the budget. And instead of going in with $2,000, go in with $3,000 because your horizon is expanded. You have more options. You could buy a luxury watch that maybe you thought was out of the budget, 6 months previously. Or you could do the same thing. You could buy like 4 or 5 watches that are more affordable. So these are my stretch picks. Maybe you saved a little bit and you're okay going up to $2,500 or $3,000. This one is the Tudor Black Bay 36 with the new silver dial, snowflake hands, 100 meters of water resistance on the bracelet. And this one, you might think it's too small, hearing 36, but it's not the case. It actually wears a little bit bigger. It wears very similar to that 38 millimeter Hamilton Khaki Field mechanical. So I like the luminescence here. I like the styling. This essentially is what the Explorer used to be for Rolex. Great size, very practical, good water resistance, a great sport piece that's elegant and versatile. And so this would be a good pick. If you wanted a dive watch though, here's another stretch pick, the Tag Heuer Aqua Racer. And I've got a thing for green dialed divers, green dialed watches. This one carries a lovely teak texture, green sunray, big applied markers, great bitone, low light luminescence, good bezel action, solid bracelet, really solid watch all the way around with an ETA movement. I think this one would be a good one to consider. If you just wanted one piece to wear that maybe you would enjoy more than the Seiko and a Hamilton and a Citizen, or maybe you're one of those guys that likes, hey, I like the versatility more than the one, a step up in price point type watch. So anyways, let's go to the next price tier here. You now have $10,000 to spend and build a collection. What are you going to do? Well, for me, this one actually was a little bit easier than the $2,000 price. And this seems to be the thing. The higher your budget, easier it seems to be to pick watches that you love. At least that's what I found doing this exercise. But my first piece is the Omega Speedmaster Professional Sapphire Sandwich. This is the updated METIS certified movement here, the 3861 that you can see through an Exposition caseback. And I've got to say, I love the versatility of the Moonwatch. I love just the styling, the proportions, and especially with the new tweaks and changes to this model, the stepped dial, the applied logo, the new bracelet that has this lovely dramatic taper. I think this is one of the most comfortable watches that you could wear. Again, very versatile and unbeatable history. If you want an icon, if you like that, if you like the history, man, there's really very few watches out there that would rival the Speedmaster in terms of history. And this one will be certified by the COSC. You do have hacking here. You do have a coaxial escapement, and you do have that 15,000 Gauss threshold of anti-magnetic properties. So it's just a great piece that would take up the majority of my wrist time. But again, going back to what I did with the $2,000 budget, when you want to be satisfied, you want to go with something completely different. So I'm not going to pick another Swiss chronograph. I'm not going to pick another Omega. I'm going to go to Japan, and I'm going to go with a dressy piece. This is the Grand Seiko SBGP 001. This is the lovely 44GS case with the champagne dial. Now, I know a lot of you guys, you love the snowflake, you love the Four Seasons, you love some of these highly texturized and unique and interesting dials, but I'll tell you what, the one that speaks to me is the simple champagne. It carries a warmth and almost a glow to it. And it changes from almost silver to very yellow, and depending on the light situation that you're in. And it's just, it's so beautiful. I like the Shiratsu polishing. I like the 9F85 high accuracy quartz within this case that does carry the time zone feature, which is my favorite of the practical complications. This one is 100 meters water resistant and carries a 5-link bracelet design. And I think pairing this with the Speedy, I'm set. I mean, what a lovely duo this would be. And it would be right around $10,000, a little bit less if you're getting a discount, and quite a bit less if you're buying pre-owned. Now, that takes us to the unlimited section. What would I pick at Brent L Miller Jewelers if I had no rules? Didn't have to worry about money. I'm just going in, I'm buying what speaks to me. I don't have to worry about service cost. I don't have to worry about really anything. This one was the funnest, I think, and so let me share with you my first pick. I don't think you'll see this coming. This is another Hamilton, the PSR Digital Quartz. Retail price $745. This is not the gold tone one, this is the stainless steel one. And I have a thing for retro designs, retro logos. This is just 70s quirky styling, but it's accurate. This would be my grab and go type watch that I wouldn't have to worry about scratching up, beating up at all. And I could use this to set the time on the next picks, which will be mechanical watches. So this is my first one. The next one would be my daily wear. I need a sport watch. I need a dive watch. I'm going to my favorite brand. This is the Omega Seamaster Professional Ceramic with the lovely white dial. This is the YouTube favorite, the YouTube darling. Shout out to Bark and Jack. Shout out to Mark Goldberg and Random Rob. I know you all own this watch, and I might want to join your club here very soon because it's just such a great piece. You know, when it comes to the adjustability, the anti-magnetic properties, the details of the dial, the shine, the pop, the presence. For me, watch collecting is very emotional. It's not necessarily logical, even though this exercise, I'm trying to go about it in a logical manner. Sometimes a watch just speaks to you and you love it, and you can get lost looking at your wrist when you're trying to gauge the time because you notice the laser engraved wave pattern or the bitone lume or the way just the light hits it and you go, yes, this is why I'm in horology. This is why I collect watches. This is why I spend silly amounts of money on pieces of men's jewelry or ladies' jewelry that tell me the time to a greater degree of inaccuracy than the phone in my pocket. You know, so this watch, it's one of those watches for me. I think this is the best daily driver out there at about $5,000. And there are other great ones. The Pelagos is awesome. I mean, there's some really good ones out there, but I think for me, it's got to be the Seamaster Professional Ceramic. Now, I'm going to pick one more watch here. And with the unlimited budget, I have to go with a more expensive piece. And a personal goal of mine is to buy a full gold watch at some point, and not just a watch that, it's on a leather strap or something. I want the full gold bracelet. I want the full experience. I want that weight on my wrist. I want that heft. I want that warmth and luster that you only get with yellow gold. And I'm partial to yellow gold over white gold and over rose gold. This is the Rolex Day-Date in 36 millimeter with a white lacquered dial, applied gold Romans. I have a thing for Romans on a dial. I know some of you disagree. Kyle, shout out to you. But anyways, this one is just classy, classic. I love the mix of complications, the day and the date, and how it's executed, and how you can see the entire day of the week spelled out. I mean, this one is tough to beat. I would really love this watch. This one was in the pre-owned section at Brent L Miller, and I was a little bit surprised because it was priced at $20,000, and these trade for a little bit more than $20,000. Anywhere from 21, 22 to 25, depending on age, completeness, condition, service history, all of that stuff. So when I was out there, honestly, I was super tempted to just go home with that because I just sold the overseas. I had some, I had a pretty big watch budget. So I almost bought this. I really did. This had to be in my unlimited pick. But those are my picks, guys, at the $2,000, the $10,000, and the unlimited. What do you guys think? And what would you do? What would you change? What do you think about going with, 3 or 4 watches? Or are you one of those guys that are like, hey, I want to spend most of it on one watch, a little bit higher up on the price category, so to speak? Where do you stand there? Do you feel like you should be more patient and wait to up the budget a little bit and have access to brands that maybe you weren't considering before at your previous budget? I'm interested to know your opinion. Thank you very much for watching today. Reach out with any questions. I look forward to interacting with you in the comment section, and I'll see you real soon.